Hey associates, Professor HB here with another ride along. This is for that technical report, that recommendation report for 2090. So to start, before I ever did anything, I had my outline. I had this cool dry erase board, outlined it all because outlines are key. I also created this mind map of the different research areas and topics I would look up. So with those things prepared and my outline that I created in Word, I just started expanding on all of that. The first thing is to make sure to have a really great purpose statement because that purpose statement is ultimately going to frame the rest of your work. Once I had my purpose statement down, I just kind of scrolled back through my outline, started expanding pieces, and looking back over the research that I had previously conducted and taken notes on. Now, even though I did do previous research, as I was writing, I needed to go find, extra sources, data, information that just come to light when you're actually writing it out. And so throughout the time in the recording, I go off and pull up both the sources I had previously found and then also found new sources, just making sure to add them to our reference manager every time I pulled a new one, making sure that I cited it in text so that way it shows, right, where that source, where that data is kind of backing up what it is that I'm saying. Then the rest of the time, I just write away. And yes, I am watching Daredevil and hanging out in my PJs and spent, 3, maybe 4 hours just writing the report. All right, so then after that, finally came back. I changed into my pajamas, took a little break, and now I'm just back to do some of that final editing and formatting on it. And so really I'm just looking through, finding places where it makes more sense to visually show the information, to highlight certain aspects, thinking about where do I want my audience's eye to go and why. I also am playing around with the style. So remember, we want to use the style template so our table of contents works correctly. But I actually went in and added my own kind of custom UCCS plus my own color scheme and fonts. And so once you add that in, you can actually cycle through different variations under the design tab. And so I just spent a little bit of time cycling through the variations, being like, what do I like for the heading style? More or less, and then applying that, across the board and cleaning up some of my tables and whatnot. Here I, realized, wait, I need another visual per the assignment instructions. Where might I add a graph in? My first kind of idea was just not working at all. I really struggled to be like, why isn't this graph working? Sometimes it's because you just don't have a good data story. It just doesn't make sense to visualize it there. And so play around with different places of data and different stories you're trying to tell. And then I did eventually find one that works a little bit better. Still messed around with that graph for quite a long time before kind of just being like, the simple bar graph is going to be good enough. It shows off the salary differences. The story is there. Adding that into my caption and calling it a day. And then finally, I'm just going back through the assignment sheet, making sure that I have all of the components, all of the specs in there, adding my table of contents, double checking to make sure all the headings look good. I had one mistake, so I went back and added fixed the label since I had changed the order, added my list of figures and list of tables. If you use the caption tool, then you can insert this kind of auto table for you. And just went ahead and wrapped up the report.